Hello, everyone, and welcome to Paranormal Archaeology.
Hello, ghosts and ghouls, and welcome to another episode of Paranormal Archaeology. Woo. And if you watched the first video in this series, you will know that we are rewatching Marble Hornets, because I watched another channel called the Sarahnormal Activity, and they mentioned that the Marble Hornets crew has put out a new series that they're on the, I think, third or fourth episode of. I have no idea by the time you see this video. Called Rosswood. But that being said, we on this channel are going to be looking over the Marble Hornets original series. We're going to focus on the original episodes of Marble Hornets. And what we're going to be doing here, I don't know, how does this tie back to paranormal archaeology? All right, look. Archaeology is the study of human culture, right? Human material culture. And here's the argument. Anything touched by human hands is material culture, right? And that, I argue, is also the internet. Now, because the internet cannot exist without humanity. And I am not the first person to make that argument. There is plenty of research out there. All you got to do is Google internet archaeology, all kinds of good shit out there, right? I am simply applying the term paranormal to this because here's my argument. Marble Hornets, the original clips that we will be watching, I think there's, I believe Sarah from Sarahnormal Activity said there's like 188 original clips altogether for the Marble Hornets storyline. And now some of them are less than a minute. Some of them I think are like, I want to say the longest of them is like less than 10 minutes long. So we'll be watching multiples of these at any given time. We will probably get through them fairly quickly, but then there's a second. So there's the original film student video clips, which were the original Marble Hornet clips. And then there's a second grouping called the Arc. And when we get to those, I have a different argument to make, but they'll still be paranormal archaeology-esque digitally. So now here's the thing. There's the archaeology argument for it, that these are material culture because these were created by man for consumption by man, right? Videos are material culture, and we are going to interact with it as that. Now, here's the thing for where the paranormal part comes in. So if you remember watching the first video, I'm just going to very briefly recap. And if you haven't watched these before, spoilers, just letting you know. If you haven't watched them before, you're going to get spoiled a little bit as we move forward from here. So you might want to go watch these by yourselves first. Otherwise, I can't help it. There's just no way to do this without somewhat spoiling things for you. In 2009, there was a contest on a little known website. This is just a slightly obscure website called Creepypasta. There was a contest to have altered images, photoshopped images. And one of the entries were two photos of the Slender Man. And I'm being very brief here because I've already talked about this in the first video, which will be linked down below. And 10 days later, another group of individuals, the Marble Hornets group, took the concept of Slender Man from those videos and created the Marble Hornets universe, effectively. That includes Slender Man. I think they refer to him as the operator here, but it's Slender Man. All right. So some of you may know who Slender Man is. 16 years later, some of you might know who Slender Man is. Some of you might know what Marble Hornets is. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. That's why it's like I'm going to be spoiling this for a handful of you, but the majority of you not so much. So here's the paranormal argument. Yes, Slender Man is fictional. Yes, Slender Man and Marble Hornets are all fictional. Yes, this found footage-esque set of videos that were posted on YouTube 16 years ago, starting 16 years ago, are fictional. Everything about this is fictional. Yes. However, what these videos are trying to invoke is a sense of the paranormal. Same thing with the two images of Slender Man, the two original images from 2009. They originally were trying to mimic a paranormal style photograph, right? We were photoshopping things back in the day before we had filters. The altering of an image to create a paranormal-esque interaction experience with that photo, that is also, I think, well within the realm of paranormal archaeology, because again, it's material culture that is being altered in a way to invoke a paranormal experience, right? And because that happened, those images were altered to invoke that paranormal experience, it does alter how those images would have otherwise been interacted with. Because the concept of the photoshopping means that these images, before they were photoshopped, were just regular pictures, right? They were just normal images. And so if you had just seen them before they were altered, nothing, right? You would not have interacted with them in any other abnormal way. But once those images were altered, not only did it change the way that people were interacting with them, but it inspired an entire, very well-known series of found footage style YouTube videos that I would say Marble Hornets is probably one of the better known kind of, I guess, cult classic found footage style YouTube channels, right? There have been many of these, and I'm not going to pretend like this is the first found footage-esque YouTube storytelling channel. I don't even know what that channel would be. But Marble Hornets, a lot of people, especially people who spend a lot of time in the horror circles, like horror movies, just horror entertainment in general, especially people who like urban legends, or people like me who spend a lot of time, dipping our toes into paranormal stuff. A lot of people know Slender Man. And a lot of people, if you know Slender Man, you know Marble Hornets. It's kind of like, you know who Mothman is, okay? If you know your cryptids. It's just that kind of a thing. Of course, we can argue that Slender Man is a cryptid as well. Slender Man is known. Let me put it that way. Again, all this stuff I kind of went over in the first video, so I don't want to spend too much time talking about it here at the beginning. What I do want to do is look at these videos. We are going to be looking at them as artifacts from the past. The premise of these videos is that they are, again, found footage from 2006. So even in 2009, these videos are set 3 years in the past from there. And we will be looking at them from a modern-esque lens, but we cannot judge them by our modern standards because, the past is a foreign country. They do things differently there. And that's the thing. Like, I cannot judge their behavior, anything that might be said, that kind of stuff. What we will be looking at is visual storytelling and audio storytelling throughout these videos, because all of those aspects are very important in these videos. So this is what's going to make these videos that I am making a little challenging, because I know a lot of people like to listen to these kind of like a podcast, and I will probably be putting these videos up through the podcast section of the channel as well. But the problem is these videos aren't meant to be interacted with haphazardly. What makes the Marble Hornet videos so good is they are meant to be observed, and they are meant to be interacted with. Like, you need to watch them things happen within the video itself, right? Right now, there is text on the screen. I'm going to do my best to read the text, but I'm going to tell you guys right now, it's going to take away from the overall impact of these videos when I read the text. But I'm going to do my best to try to keep up with the text. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of dead air in my video because there's a lot of quiet time or just a lot of white noise, which is also important in these videos because of the text that goes on the screens. But I also know that a lot of y'all listen to me and you don't watch me. These are probably going to be videos that you might, if you're not going to watch me, understandable, completely. Do follow the link that I'll have in the description. Go check out the Marble Hornets YouTube channel. It is still up. You can still watch these. Do go watch the videos yourself. Like I said, none of them are terribly long. You can get through a handful of them in like 30 minutes. You can probably get through most of this in a day. These are meant to be savored, if one will. We're going to spend way too much time overthinking these damn videos. We're going to be thinking of them from the aspect of material culture. We're going to be thinking of them archaeologically, anthropologically, not the way they were meant to be looked at. So the first person who's going to be in my comment section, man, you're overthinking this. I know, that's what we do here. I know we're overthinking it. So there's that. I think that's enough of a preamble at this point. I will try to have some timestamps for things that I think are relevant, but for the most part, it's just going to be getting through the introduction and getting to the starting of the viewing of these videos. If you have jumped from the introduction straight into me reacting to these videos and you are confused as to why I am doing certain things while we are watching these videos, that's your own damn fault. You might want to go back and watch the introduction where I explain why we are doing certain things while watching these videos. All right, so this is the very first video. Again, this one was posted 16 years ago on June 20th, 2009. I am not going to read off the date for every one of these videos. Just let it be known, the very first Marble Hornets video went up on June 20th, 2009. Today, as of recording of this video, it is September the 18th, 2025. All right. That's just the thing we're going to do. I might give us a timestamp here and there as we go through every so often with the videos, just so you guys can have a timeline as the videos go, but I'm not reading off the date for every one of these because that's just going to get a little tedious here and there. So the very first video in the Marble Hornets story was called Introduction. There's going to be a lot of reading in this one. This one is very, I know it's going to sound weird, this one's very audio driven. All right. This video is also a minute. It's almost 2 minutes. 1 second shy of 2 minutes. The very first screen says, the following clips are raw footage excerpts from Alex Crayley, a college friend of mine. In 2006, Alex was in the process of shooting his student film entitled Marble Hornets. Over the 3 months that this took place, his film crew complained of his increasing levels of stress and irritability. Near the end of shooting, Alex halted production indefinitely and dropped the unfinished project. He told me it was due to the, quote, unworkable conditions, end quote, on his set, which was less than a mile from his house. I asked what he planned to do with the countless numbers of tapes he had filmed. Quote, burn them, end quote. Being a film student myself, I hated to see all of his work go to waste. After some coercing, he agreed to give them to me. Under the condition that I never mention it to him again. Soon after, Alex transferred to another school, and I haven't seen him since. At the time, I was too unnerved to look through the tapes and eventually forgot about them. A few days ago, I found them filed away in the back of my closet. After 3 years and zero contact with Alex, I have decided to look through them. All the tapes are unnumbered and missing timestamps. Other than taking place in the summer of 2006, it is impossible to determine the exact order or date of each. Should I find anything in any of them, I will upload it to keep as permanent record. Now, here's the important thing to take away from the very first video, other than my reading. The soundtrack to the first video is the audio track of these videos is going to be just as important as the video tracks. So for those of you listening at home, you will be able to play the home game, but you will be missing out on the larger port. Okay, I will say you're going to be missing out on 75% or 85% of the videos. But the audio tracks are important, all right? It's funny to me to see the viewers here because you've got 6.1 million views on the very first video, but then entry number 1 has 8.3 million views. I know why this one has more views than damn near any of them. And we'll find out in a second. All right. So this is entry number 1 that we're going to get ready to watch here. And again, entry number 1 was also posted on June 20th. Says, after viewing a couple of tapes and finding nothing unusual, I came across a clip that doesn't fit with the others. From what I can tell, the following footage takes place inside Alex's house, not the set of Marble Hornets. The audio has been removed. Either the microphone was disabled at the time or it was taken out afterwards. This was the only thing that was out of the ordinary on this particular tape. After seeing this clip, I'll keep an eye out for occurrences similar to this in the future. Now, this little 47-second clip is doing some heavy lifting. Because not only is this the second but first official entry, it's telling us a lot about the setup for this story, right? The other thing that it's doing is it's giving us the visual cue of what the monster looks like. It's the first time we see the monster. And most importantly, it says, I will keep an eye out for this in the future. Basically, it's the author telling us, y'all need to keep your eyes peeled for Waldo. And that was Waldo. I don't know how many people remember playing Where's Waldo. I have all of the books somewhere. But there's these really, really cluttered ass pictures, and somewhere in there's one dude, Waldo, who's wearing a red and white striped shirt and a red and white striped cap. He's got glasses and stuff. He's very specific. But you got to find Waldo, right? This little video is instructing us, the viewers, from this point forward, to keep our eyes peeled for Slender Man in the upcoming entries from here on out, right? And I argue that the first video that I was reading, where it was explaining how these entries have come about. Now, we don't know who this person is who's posting these videos, because it says, I was a friend of Alex's. Not one of the students working on this project, just a friend of Alex's, right? So we don't know who this person is who's posting these videos. But the audio, remember I told you the audio cues are very important. And we'll see more of that as we get into the video and we see more interaction between the film crew and the environment, because they interact with the environment. This is very man versus environment here, story plot line wise. So let's move on to the second entry. Entry 2. After a few more hours of tapes, I found this clip of Alex talking while driving. For now, I will assume that this probably took place before the events of entry number 1.
I got home late tonight and I was taking Rocky for his walk about 20 minutes ago, so around midnight. This was near the set of Marble Hornets. A little bit farther down the road, we saw this really tall guy standing in the middle of the street, just completely still. For whatever reason, this really set off Rocky, and he got really scared. He wouldn't move, and he kept on pulling on his leash to go back home. There was something about this guy that was just, it was strange. So we headed back home. I have a little bit of time left on this tape, and I'm going to go see if he's still hanging around. In fact, I think this is the light that he was standing under. So we're going to have a look here. Okay, you can't really see it well on the camera, but I don't see anyone around here, so I guess he's moved on. But yeah, there's just something about that.
It says the tape ends here. From what he describes, I think he has seen something similar to the figure that appeared in entry number 1. This is the storyteller, again, using visual and audio cues to tell the story. Now, they are relying on you, the audience, understanding how technology works back in the day, because, you know, he's talking about, I've got a little bit of time left on this tape. There's not a lot of people who record these days probably don't remember recording on tape. Well, okay, a lot of you youngins probably don't remember recording on tape, and you probably don't record on tape still. I don't know. How do you people record these days? I know a lot of even the newer fancier cameras, they're just digital, but I don't think you guys have to have to be too concerned about tape size or tape space. But I do know that the little chips, the little microchips, you know, those can get full. Microchips. Anyway, SD cards. The producers are relying on your understanding of the limitations of technology for the time to understand why certain things are the way they are in these videos. And that might not be obvious to today's creators, or even today's, you might not understand why it was so dark. You may not understand why the audio sounds the way it does. You may not understand what he's talking about when he's like, I've got a little bit of time left on this tape. You may not get that part, but it's because of the limitations of the technology that was being used for these recordings at that time. You may understand perfectly, and I just might be talking out my ass, but the limitations of the recording technology and the audio technology during 2009 when this is being recorded, or I guess 2006 when this is being recorded, is itself a character within these entries, within the story as well. And that's another thing to kind of keep in the back of your head as we're watching these, because that becomes part of the video environment as we go forward. None of these are sped up, by the way. I haven't sped any of these up or anything. I am starting to notice a vast majority of the tapes are completely unrelated to Marble Hornets. Now remember, Marble Hornets is the name within the videos, is the name of the show that Alex was the name of the project that Alex was working on while he was in school. So Marble Hornets is the name of the YouTube channel, but within these videos, Marble Hornets is the name of the movie, the show that Alex, the character, was making. So at some point, it seems Alex began filming himself exclusively. The following clips are taken from roughly 12 tapes. Hang on real fast. Do we see him? Did you guys find Waldo? The infamous tapes in question. There. Trying to see if I can see him. It doesn't necessarily mean he's there. I'm just, trying to see. Can we find Waldo? Is Waldo here? Is that Waldo? Is this Waldo? Is it Waldo or is it a tree? Is Waldo in the car? From what I have been seeing so far, many of these tapes could contain nothing substantial. Although it does seem that Alex wanted to have a camera on himself at all times. The clip from entry number 1 is still the best lead I have so far. All right. Interestingly, yes, thank you. Now, remember I was saying this. Okay, this is from June 23rd, 2009. I was just curious when the first Paranormal Activity movie came out. The first Paranormal Activity movie was released on September 25th, 2009. But it premiered at the Screamfest Horror Film Festival in 2007. So that I find interesting. That doesn't necessarily mean anything, nor does it take away from anything. I just thought it was just an interesting part of the timeline. No, no, the Screamfest. So, did they get their inspiration from it? Because they might have gone to Screamfest. These are actual film students, so they might have gone to Screamfest and seen this and been like, yes, maybe. Again, the concept of the found footage film is not new. It's not even new to the 2000s. I forget. I think the earliest one is from like the 70s. I'll have to double check that one. So it's not a new concept. I think the whole, I would say the idea of a found footage film probably is as old as the concept of film. You know, just the idea of it. Because the concept of like the found journal story is as old as writing. I mean, Dracula is effectively a found footage film in journal style. So there you have that. So the whole idea is not a new or original idea, but how it's being used is. And again, is this the first time this has been done on YouTube? I don't believe so. I can't even tell you who the first channel would have been to do a project like this, where they're using YouTube clips and YouTube film to tell a story like this. I don't know. Clearly, it was probably before 2009, but I don't know. But this is what we're talking about. So let's get to entry 10. Let's do that. We're on 3. Let's go to 4. All right, entry 4. I found another tape containing strange footage and no audio track. There's no audio track at all this time. Not even white noise. Oop. This and entry 1 are the only clips I have found that do not have sound. I am starting to suspect Alex removed the audio himself. Interesting. Before Marble Hornets began production, I went location scouting with Alex. Okay. I filmed him talking about the location he was interested in using. I came across one of the tapes containing this footage that has had its audio severely distorted. Okay. So this tells us a little bit more about who's posting this video. Videos.
All right, it's recording.
Okay. This is the gazebo where I want Brian to come back and reflect later in.
I'm a terrible person. I'm like, can I attack the gazebo? All right, anyway, back to this.
Movie, this will probably be about 3/4 of the way through.
This will just be by himself, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking about maybe putting in.
Trying to see if I can find Waldo. Because remember what Sarahnormal said in the first video from the first. She said whenever there was the audio distortion.
And we'll have him like reflect and decide to actually go back to Sarah, try to win her back. And we got a good number of shots here. We have the stream down there.
Also, now I'm just kind of staring at the images. Is that him in the tree? How the hell did they get him up there? Nah.
Area. It's very, I don't know, secluded, I guess. All right.
All right, this is going to be near Sarah's hunting camp. Over there is where we're going to do the bonfire scene. Over by the fire pit.
Yeah.
I also want to have a shot of the next day where Sarah and Brian, I might also have Tim there at some point, are sitting around thinking about the past, just talking about days gone by.
Sorry.
I really like this place since we have the tree line that basically blocks off our entire shooting area. And we also have these really tall trees right in the middle, which personally I just think are really cool.
What's that tall red thing over there?
Yeah, that's like an old climbing wall, or I can't remember if it was a climbing wall or if the fire department.
And suddenly they become Charlie Brown's parents. I wonder if there's a website, there probably is, that has like every time the Slender Man appears in the Marble Hornets videos. Because I'm having a good time playing this game, but I don't think I'm winning. I don't think I'm winning at all. Mainly because I don't think my eyes are good enough.
Although I wish that tall grass were all level, or we had more of it, just kind of abruptly stops over there.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we can work a way around it.
In addition to the audio distortion, there have also been numerous instances of visual tearing. That's the little thing happening at the bottom of the video. If you didn't know. I've noticed these occurring in previous entries as well. Entry number 1. Entry 3. Entry 4. It's possible that I missed other occurrences of this in tapes that I have already watched. So basically, whoever this person is, we don't know yet, is just pointing out the various flaws that they are noticing within the tapes themselves. So they are pointing out, it's interesting how the storyteller is pointing out to us details that we need to pay attention to. The very first entry, official entry, they pointed out that we needed to keep an eye out for the Slender Man character. And I think I spotted it at least once. This entry, they told us about the audio distortions. And then we got to listen to that. And then here at the end, it's mentioning the visual tearing and gave us examples of it so that we know what we're looking for in case we didn't know what it was. So it gave us the 3 examples of the video tearing from entry 1, 2, and 3, I believe it was. And it was 3 different occurrences. So, you know, when you see the video jumping like it did, or when it looks like it's, you know, the top and the bottom are tearing, or it looks like it's stretching. Those are all different types of video tearing. Basically, if it looks like the video is distorting, that's video tearing. But it's a way that they are telling us what audio and visual cues to look for, without browbeating us with it, right? This person who is putting these videos up on the YouTube, they have already said, I am a film student as well. They are one of Alex's, we now know that they were one of Alex's partners, at least helping them find locations for their Marble Hornets project, right? So the fact that they would be telling us film student-esque things like, oh, the audio was distorted, oh, the video is tearing, that works in with the character, right? The character would know these terms, would know these things. And so they're just relaying that to us, the audience. So now we know. And now we can watch the rest of these entries and we know when to look, right? We know when to hit the pause button and pretend like we can see it in the background. I'm old. Leave me alone. All right, so that was entry 5. This is entry 6. I found the following clip at the beginning of a new tape. This could be the continuation of entry 1, which took place at the end of a tape. Again, there's no audio. There he is. Interestingly, entry 6, which may or may not be a continuance of entry 1 had white noise going on. Entry 6 has no noise. So that's interesting. The tape I just watched consisted entirely of raw footage from Marble Hornets. Remember, that's the project that Alex is working on. Other than Brian, Alex, Alex also seems to be talking to a girl off camera at one point. That must be Brian.
Let's start again.
To look at you.
Hi,
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right, I'm rolling, and just a second, let me.
I thought you were talking to her.
Crap, I just lost this script. And I'm talking to Brian. Yeah, don't say anything, because the camera picks it up. All right, you ready?
Yeah. Are you gonna feed me Tim's lines?
Yeah, just a second.
Okay.
All right. Action.
I don't know. This town just doesn't feel the same to me anymore. I missed it so much when I was in college. But now that I'm back, I just feel like a depressed teenager all over again. Stuck in a loop of unhappiness.
Maybe you've grown up.
I don't know. Maybe this town has grown up.
Maybe it has. All right, good.
Are we gonna do it again? Are we?
No, we're done.
That's it?
Yeah, we're done.
Okay.
Someone was following Alex. All right, that was entry 7. I hope we all saw Waldo that time. Of course, we were primed to see Waldo. That was a clip that Sarah used in her video. Very well done, by the way. This is entry 8. I did not notice any visual tearing anywhere in this tape. However, the audio does cut out. So one of the things we were talking about in the beginning of this video is symbols that may or may not, well, they will be symbols that are going to be throughout the video as well. And Sarah, in the Sarahnormal video from the very first part of this series, mentioned various symbols that are used throughout the Marble Hornets series to indicate various things, right? And we're just now being introduced to the start of these symbols most blatantly. So for the first time, we're starting to see these being written out, right? And I think this is post Blair Witch. Let me double check. Oh yeah. Blair Witch was out in 1999. How could I forget that? I was not a fan of Blair Witch. I'm sorry. I thought it was stupid as hell. Anyway, I know a lot of people really liked it. A lot of people really liked it. I just remember, I went to go see it with a friend of mine. I just remember being in the theater with my friend at the time and the big reveal moment. And they pan the camera over in the big reveal moment. And, you know, the whole theater's like, and my friend and I just start cackling because it was so fucking stupid. We're the only two people in this goddamn theater and we're both just laughing our asses off. It's so bad. Anyhow. Anyway, post Blair Witch, we're using symbolisms again. Anyway, we're using symbols again to indicate occultism maybe, or just to kind of heighten the sense of the paranormal about the Slender Man character, the operator, the Slender Man. And this is another aspect of creating the paranormalness of the video itself. Like this video that we are currently freeze framed on has now got an element of the paranormal in it itself, because we are now witnessing for the first time these symbols of the Slender Man. We don't know what they're for yet. We're only halfway through this 36 second clip. We'll get there, I promise. But we're still within the first 10 entries. So we're still having the story being introduced to us. Like, we haven't even met all of the characters yet. So we're not only are we still having all of the main characters introduced to us, you know, we've had the monster introduced, we've had Brian, we've had Alex. We don't know who the narrator is. We don't know who the narrator is yet. I don't know if we do find out. And we know that there is a girl, a female character, who we will eventually meet. So we're still getting introduced to the cast. We're still getting introduced to the rules of the universe, the environment of the universe, that kind of thing. We're still getting introduced to the technology of this universe. Remember, this is back in 2009, but it's supposed to be set in 2006. So it's even 3 years prior to 2009. It makes a difference, okay? It makes a difference. But this moment, this 36 seconds, this moment here, amplifies the paranormalness of these individual clips, right? This one in particular, because now we are being introduced to the symbols themselves, or at least one of the symbols, because we are watching Alex frantically scribble these symbols down, right? And the audio goes out. The rest of the tape remains too dark to see, and the audio never comes back. Let's see if we can scroll back and see what the actual pictures were, though. It's the most replayed moment in the film. I think this says finds me. This, I think he was writing help. Okay, the black thing that's moving is the chalk he put down. All right, so here's the trees. He even wrote the word trees in case we didn't realize those were trees. Maybe we're being a little ham-handed here. Is that what I'm looking at? Okay, so we don't get that great of a look of them. So we've got Slender Man standing over here by the trees. We had Slender Man just standing. It says hell. I think he was trying to write help. This is find me. or finds me. Was there another part where we could see the rest of these a little bit better? When he was like scribbling? No, not really. Yeah, not really. So we really can't see too much of this stuff back here, but there is what becomes a more noticed signal or symbol, which is the circle with an X through it or a plus sign. Again, depending on how you put it in there, which you will also notice is the icon for the channel itself. So, all right, so that was entry number 8. But okay, going back to visual storytelling, this is another way that they are queuing us up for further down the road being able to use visual tells to tell the story and not have to like spoon feed shit to us. So it's always a good sign. All right, that was 8. This is 9. I have never seen Alex act the way he does in the following raw footage from Marble Hornets.
Seemed really distant ever since he came back, you
Made me jump.
know?
And
I mean,
We're being introduced to 2 new characters because this is not Brian. And please excuse my cat.
have you talked to him at all?
no.
Well, did he come back because of you? Because he never told me why he was here.
Doesn't really matter, does it? He left me when he went off to the city, and that's that.
Yeah, I guess you're right. So, I mean, what's the plan now for you? What's next?
I'm not really gonna do anything.
We're gonna do it again. The pacing still feels weird. It doesn't sound like a conversation. You guys still sound like you're reading off of the script. Let's just have a conversation. Let's do it again.
Still, 8 takes. Still. Can we go yet?
Action.
You can hear children in the background, little kids.
Well, no, we can't. Just a second.
Yeah, wonderful.
That's what happens when you come out of public place.
Good thing I didn't have anything to do later today,
Yeah,
you know?
I know. 12 to 1.
Why would you have anything to do anyway? You knew you were coming on set. You knew this could take a while.
Yeah, it was
Obviously
supposed to be an
it is.
afternoon shoot, though.
You guys would do it right first
It was
time.
afternoon shoot. I didn't even buy lunch.
Let's
for
just
this
do it
shoot.
Let's just do it again. Just stop.
Alright.
Action.
He seemed really distant ever since he came back,
Cut
you know?
from the beginning.
Rolling.
What? Roll. Did you not have it recording during the break? I told you to keep the camera recording at all times. Oh, how long was it off?
I forgot for a second.
You forgot. I gave you one job. All you're supposed to do was come in here, set up the camera, make sure it doesn't fall over, and press record once. You don't stop it at all. I made this extremely clear.
If this is gonna go on for a while, can I get a script again?
You're
Thank
saving time
you.
on the tapes.
So you helped me load up the car. You know how many tapes we have. If we run out of time on this tape, we'll get another. It's not a problem. I mean, how clear do I have to make it before you listen? I mean, get off. You brought your dog. How many sets is that? Memorize your lines.
It's just a mistake.
Memorize your lines. Maybe we'll get through this a little bit faster.
Memorize your lines. Just don't read them right off the page.
Oh,
You gotta be
okay.
a little bit more human with it.
Because
Don't
I've
be
had
so...
the script in every scene.
Exactly.
Yeah, act. How about that?
Oh yeah. That's real nice. You know, considering how much you're paying us and everything.
Why would I pay you for what you're giving me? I mean, really.
Oh, that's real nice.
Who else is gonna work with you with this attitude?
Look,
Yeah, you already spent
I'm
so much
sorry.
money on tapes. You can't afford actors anyway.
let's just get it done with. All right? Let's just get it done. I'm sorry. Just don't stop recording. It's not a problem. Plenty of tapes.
Okay, fine. Sorry.
Alex seems to have been filming himself constantly even before he stopped working on Marble Hornets. Interesting kiss. Yes. All right, this is entry 9. I'm very emotionally invested. Wow, Alex, dude, seriously, chill. I think it's interesting that they are actually filming in public spaces, and I like how they just kind of worked in the interruption from the kids because obviously they're in a public space, so that's kind of nice. I liked it. I forgot how good this was. It's still good. Shut up. Some of you out there are like, this is crap. You're dead to me. All right, this is number 10. This is going to be the last one for this episode. Entry 10. All right. Entry 10 was posted on July 28th. Let's see. Found another troubling clip. Whatever was following Alex has him running now. And this clip is 1.5 minutes. And there's no audio again. I guess we're running. Mostly we're just getting really jarring clips of a flashlight and some foliage, I guess. I don't know. Your flashlight's dying. Oh no. Is it, or is it just going in and out of focus? I can't tell. It's a flashlight from a horror game. It illuminates exactly nothing. How did you manage to find the one flashlight in real life that doesn't actually illuminate anything? Sorry. I don't know where we are. In a sidewalk? Street lamp? No, I don't think that was Alex's face. There he is. And that's that. All right. So that was entry number 10. All right. There he is. All right. So things I'm going to do for next time, because we're through the first 10 entries out of 188. I think I'm going to try to find a site, because it exists, that has every time Slender Man pops up in these clips. Now, that will be y'all's homework as well, if you've never watched these before, is to go back and watch Marble Hornets, especially entries 1 through 10 on your own. Take notes, come back, let me know what you guys think about entries 1 through 10. I will have the channel linked below in the description for Marble Hornets. I'm not going to link the individual videos. There might be a playlist. There might be a playlist, which might be the better plan for this as opposed to hopping back and forth. But either way, I just want to see if we can find Waldo. I don't think he's necessarily in every single video clip, but if he is. So that is y'all's job, is to go rewatch the first 10. If you want to watch ahead, that's fine too. But I would like to know what you guys think of these first 10 entries. What little details did you pick up on that you think are important to carry forward? What little tidbits about the first 10 entries did you pick up about the era of 2009? Remember, these are technically filmed in 2009, but they're being filmed about 2006. So did you notice any inconsistencies between 2009 and 2006? Keep in mind, these are film students. I think even though they're film students, and I know Sarah from Sarahnormal Activity from the very first video of this was like, oh, they're very green. I get that part, but I think they're still doing a pretty damn good job. Even today in 2025, watching these, I'm still kind of like, this is pretty good. Watching, what was that, entry number 8 or 9, where Alex is yelling at his friends for, he's yelling at his friends, and they're the actors. I still was like, Alex. A little bit, being a little bit of an asshole, So I think they're still, even if they're green around the gills or whatever, I don't think that's how that works. But anyway, my point is, they're still managing to invoke the right feelings. Now, again, a lot of these videos have no audio, or the audio is severely distorted. The audio cues are important. They've already they, whoever the mysterious they is, have given us plenty of entries to explain to us that we need to be listening as well as watching in order to get the audio and the visual cues to know when this dude's going to be popping up or when strange things are going to be occurring in the videos. We were also warned to keep an eye out for this guy in the very second video, entry number 1. And we've pretty much got all of our warnings going forward of what to look for in these videos, right? So the paranormalness of these entries has been established by entry 10, right? And here we are, this is number 10, where we once again have Alex running, and he has again a glimpse of this guy, right? So the paranormal aspect of these videos has been established, and so we don't need to further establish it from here on out. The weird audio, the visual glitches, this guy popping up in the background of everything. We even have Alex reacting to seeing Slender Man pop up in the videos, because that was what the whole the first, when we saw Brian in the car, and then Alex was like, no, we're done, and then he drives away. That we were meant to see this guy in the background, even though I think that was very well done. So this has been established. These videos have been established. Now the person posting these is still kind of playing dumb. It's still kind of like, I don't know what's going on exactly. But he's like, someone is following Alex. Now he hasn't gone off the deep end and is like, oh, something paranormal is happening. He thinks just somebody is following him, right? So when do we have that shift with the narrator? We're going to call this guy the narrator until we have a better name for them. When does the shift for the narrator happen between, this is just some rando who's chasing Alex around, to something paranormal is occurring? When does that happen? And we'll keep an eye out for that. And at that point, does the narrator start treating these videos differently, right? Do they stop becoming a permanent record of his friend's forgotten school projects, and do they then become evidence of the paranormal? Because also the other thing to keep in mind, when these were being posted, they were being posted in real time. We have the luxury of being able to see all of them. We can binge them all right now. But these were being posted in real time. Like the dates, if I were to sit here and tell you the individual dates, there was like a day or two in between each entry. So it wasn't like all of them were posted on July the 20th. So like the very first entry was July the 20th of 2009. Entry number 10 is July 28th, 2009. So those 10 entries were posted in that time span. So originally when this was being put out there, it was as if the person who was going through these tapes was posting and editing these things as he was going through the tapes. So he was discovering things along with us, right? Or we were discovering things along with him. So he didn't know the future yet, right? We have the luxury of 16 years in the future, and we already know who Slender Man is, and we could go watch episode 188 if we wanted to. We're not going to, but we could, right? We could go to all the fan sites. We could do I'm going to go see if I can find something that shows us where every clip that has Slender Man in them, because I know it exists. The website has to exist somewhere. And I just think it would be kind of fun to know where Waldo is. So that kind of a thing. But yeah, I think this has been fun. All right. So again, coming back around. Y'all's homework, because I know you guys wanted homework. Go back to the first 10 entries on Marble Hornets. Go back and rewatch them. See if you can find Slender Man in the episodes. See if you can find him where I missed him. Let me know what you guys think of them. What details do you think are important in the first 10 entries? What little tidbits of material culture did you notice that were being used to help visually tell the story? Like the cigarettes the guy was smoking, the way he had the mutton chops, the girl's hair, the clothing she was wearing, the stuff in the car, the crap in Alex's room. Go back over the, I spent some time talking about the drawings that Alex was making. It can be anything as insignificant as literally the crap in Alex's room to, what is Slender Man wearing? These things are important. So let me know about those little details. Again, if you guys want to watch ahead, feel free. We're going to end up spoiling things if you watch these videos, but there's that. And yeah, if you've made it this far, go ahead and put a crayon or pencil down in the comment section as your emoji. Again, if you're leaving comments about this video, leave a timestamp so that I know what we're talking about when I go back and look at the comments. And I think that's it. I think you've got your homework. I think I've got my homework. And I think I'll see everybody in the next video. So thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you to my subscribers. And I will see everybody in the next one. Bye.
We're done.
That's it?
Yeah, we're done.
Okay.